Welcome back, guys, to the weekly recap show. This week we've got myself, Zach, and Jacob. We are going to be going over episode 16 of chapter 2.
Can't believe we're already on 16.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
Man, I really need to get a recap out for the first chapter just so it's a little easier for people. I have it worked on. I have the whole...
Here's the thing, Caleb.
I'm
If
going
they're
to do it
truly
myself.
dedicated, they'll watch all of our content.
True.
That's true.
If they're real fans, see, this is where you neg your audience.
If you're real fans,
If they were real fans, they'd watch everything.
You'll go back and you'll see our other recaps. You don't even need to watch the other stuff. You'll see our other weekly recaps.
Caleb's bad at this.
Yeah.
You need to watch everything.
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 All of it.
You gotta start from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Set up 3 computers and push play on all of our videos and just start the playlist.
Excuse me.
Let it play through, restart it. Fall asleep to it at night. Let's jump into this recap, though.
Listen to our beautiful voices as they lull you to sleep.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've done that before.
Aww.
When Jacob's on a little tangent,
Just
I'll
fall
just-
asleep.
honk out.
Heck yeah.
When I'm
that makes me feel good.
my monologuing in the early days. I really...
What do you mean early days?
I don't do it as much anymore. I know I still
I
do
don't do
it.
it as much.
Oh,
I
okay.
know I still do it, but it's not as much.
He only does it once every episode, not twice or 3 times.
It wasn't like me literally trying to carry on a conversation by myself because nobody wanted to carry on any conversations. They just wanted to go fight. And I was like, okay,
Okay then.
we
Guess
can
we're
go
fighting.
fight, I guess.
I guess we go fight people.
Speaking of
But
fighting,
fighting's fun.
Last week we left off with Abby getting away from a fight. Basically, what happened was there was at the end of chapter 1, Zygon had followed a guy who had a really powerful looking sword, and the guy did not want Zygon following him. Zygon kept following him, as Zygon does, and then the guy struck Zygon down, and he had to make 3 death saves, and he did, barely. That was probably the closest we've ever come to killing for someone dying, other than when Anzu lost his finger in that stupid portal back in Whitestone.
Oh, that was fun.
True fans would know that. I got it, Jacob. All right.
Doing better.
So what happened was Abby now has met the guy. He has followed us. It's about 17 episodes later, and he followed us from Onoa all the way up here. He's apparently looking for Braun that we know of, and but this episode he was looking for Abby at the very beginning, and he had a little compass that went to her and everything, but she was able to teleport away, and that's where we started. Thea teleports away. She ends up with Anzu, and basically the whole group minus Animas was in a place where they're like, okay, let's get to Zygon. Because they thought Zygon was in the Platinum Sanctuary with his wife. He wasn't. He was in a barracks where his wife and him were staying because his wife was training people. And so they all ended up outside the barracks. They walked in and they were like talking to Zygon and everything. Animus is off trying to talk to the Baylor. I actually have a little information about that. Before that, though, Zygon, finally, Brady came back this week. He wasn't here last week, so he and his wife had a little section where they talked and kind of like caught up because Brady wasn't able to finish off his second day of our 2-day, like I don't know what to call it, our 2-day break / 2-day
break / Scooby-Doo style split up, but
Yeah.
then it goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, pretty much exactly that. What did they talk about, Jacob, during that?
Oh gosh.
Was it anything super major? It was more just catch up.
It wasn't. It was more of like, hey, how are you? I'm good. Oh, hey, by the way, the world's ending in 3 months.
Yeah.
And she's like, great.
So Zygon's wife, once again, is in a situation where we're telling her bad news. But yeah.
That's basically the only thing you guys do. You're like, hey, should we go see Zygon's wife? Yeah, we've got bad news. Let's go.
We've got bad news. We got to. Well, when they were all doing that, Thea realized, hey, where the hell is Animas? And so she sent me a message, and I was out walking around in the forest outside of Vasselheim because I wanted to talk to the Baylor. He has not talked to me in a while. And same with Zygon. Fraz has not talked to him in a while that we know of. I don't know if Jacob and him have something going on, but I would assume I don't think they've talked because Zygon's told me he hasn't had a lot of contact. Vasselheim also being a holy city, it would be hard for conversation to happen with a demon if you're a warlock, so that makes sense. I found a little tree to sit down, and I ended up talking with a four-eyed fox that is a devil who works for the Baylor, and he tells me that the Baylor is not wanting the calamity. That was my first question. Number 2, Navarn. He is the name that showed up on my arm because that is part of the reason that that I even have the Baylor as someone who's kind of giving me powers in the first place. I'm doing a job for him. He tells me Navarn's going to find me. I don't need to find him. And that Grazit is currently not out to get us. If you know this, Grazit is the demon who owns the airship that we just got to Vasselheim in, and we kind of stole a soul stone from that ship that he was not able to get himself. And that soul stone housed another demon named Demogorgon, and he is now, or I guess his soul stone is now sitting in the Platinum Sanctuary in a safe vault where people are not able to use it as a weapon. That was pretty much my whole conversation, and then Thea's message came through to me, and I ended up I flew around for a sec looking around, and I ended up flying into town and saw the guy they were talking about in the streets. He had just gotten taken away, and so I teleported back to them because I was like, hey, that guy looks like a guy that I might need to tell the group about. Turns out it was the same guy we were all looking for, so the whole group went from the barracks outside Vasselheim, and we went into Vasselheim with the help of Rebecca's knowledge of people and places within Vasselheim. And her connections got us to be able to go in and to talk with this man who had just tried to kill Thea and was hunting Braun and almost killed Zygon. One thing Animas noticed in the street that we'll come to in just a sec, he noticed the guy looked very scared, confused, and was saying that he had no idea what was going on and that he didn't do anything. Now coming back to it, we got to this place. Braun was able to go in and talk to the guy who had the sword, and Thea and Zygon were able to go in and talk to the guy who tried to kill. That sounded really confusing. The guy, they took the sword separately.
Words, what do they mean?
They took the sword separately away from the guy, and then the guy that had tried to kill Zygon and Thea was in a different room. The sword was with a guard. Braun went to talk with the guy who was guarding the sword. Thea and Zygon went in to talk with the guy who tried to kill them. Overall, what came out of this was Braun held the sword, and you had to make a check from each of the 5 or of the 6 of, or was it 5? 6? 5, 6? Each of the 6. I didn't know if you did 5 or 6. I forgot how many heads you put on that. Each of the 6 of the ability checks, and you had to make a check and save all of them. If you did not save, you took damage from the sword itself. And Braun had been talking to some sort of being within the sword. We don't know if it's a demon. We don't know if it's just like kind of like what Locknar's sword, Giant's Bane, is, where the sword's kind of alive and has its own powerful backstory. We don't know what it is yet, but it seems demonic in some way. It seems evil for sure. And Braun was able to get through all the challenges, and then the sword tried to kind of make him like, hey, now you should be my wielder and you can kill people and stuff. And Braun was able to kind of get away from that, be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. On the other hand, Thea and Zygon are talking to this guy. It really is looking like this guy was possessed by the sword in some way, or at least controlled by the sword. The man basically said he was it the day before he was with his wife or something, or at work or something, Jacob, I forget.
He said that the last thing he remembered was going to work,
Yeah, so
leaving his house.
and that was only the day before or that morning or whatever. And then all of a sudden, the sword was with him, and he forgot everything. Seems like pretty believable considering Braun had just gone in with the sword, and the sword did try to take over his mind. When all this was happening, the sword ended up vanishing, and all hell broke loose. Some people walked in and killed the guard that was with Braun, and then some people barged in with Thea and Zygon, and they ended up teleporting out. They got out first. They weren't even part of the fight. Braun started running away, and he had to run from the sword, whoever was wielding the sword at that time. Animas, Anzu, and Lochnar were playing Go Fish out on the stairs, as we do in cutscenes. Playing a nice game of Go Fish, and then we saw...
Oh, that's such a funny bit. I just can't wait until you guys are like outside an active volcano.
Playing Go
Just
Fish.
like, you have any twos?
I love the Go Fish game. It's so fun.
I like that Lochnar's now playing Go Fish.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's hilarious.
Lochnar has no idea what anything means.
My favorite thing about the Go Fish was that me, Zygon, and Anzu literally sat in a small sandcastle and played it for like role played Go Fish for a solid like 2 or 3 minutes as a cutscene to the episode that we started playing Go Fish in, and that was back when when the other 3 of our members had gone into the Feywild. Go back and watch that if you want to. But a big fight ensued. Animus got in there. He tried to help Braun escape. I kind of was thinking as Animus he had a lot of HP to deal with being a druid, so he turned into an elemental first to body block. The guy was able to kind of cut that down eventually. So Animus already had used one of his wild shapes for the day, so he turned into a bird and then cast a conjure animals to body block for Braun. While this is happening, Braun is trying to just get full-on sprint out of there. He's trying to run away. There's no fighting this guy. We know how powerful he is. And as he's doing that, the guy is catching up very easily. And then outside, Lochnar and Anzu were now inside Liamon's tiny hut, and they were trying to kind of just watch this giant rush of people come into the castle. We still don't know how they got possessed, or if they were... I think they were part of a cult. I think that's what we came down to. It seemed like it was some sort of cult thing.
That sounds like question time.
It does.
We'll get to that.
It seemed like there were just a bunch of people that jumped in. We'll talk about that in a second. They were obviously part of the whole situation, and Anzu and Lochnar decided to break out of the tiny hut and then start the fight. So they were fighting outside. Anzu's throwing some big fireballs. Lochnar's going in hand to hand to finish them off, working pretty well. Braun ended up getting out of the hall and into the courtyard where they were, because the bears body blocked so well. And then I don't know why. I just don't know why I did this. I tried to go down and grab the sword. I don't know why. And
yeah, I still don't understand why
Animus
you did
was
that.
like, I'm going to go down and get that sword out of his hand because the bear's grappling him, and I'm going to try to grab the sword, kick it away, and then get out of there so that he has even longer to get to us. The sword...
I think your thought was that this guy is also possessed.
Yeah, that was the
yeah.
exact thought, and I thought the guy would be free, and then I was like, nope, this sword's too powerful, because as soon as I got the sword as a bird, it killed the bird, because birds have only
low HP.
like 30 health, and the sword, when you grab it and you fail the saves as a bird, then it will take a lot of HP. So now I'm Animus again. Animus only had about 16 HP at the time. And
math is hard, right, Caleb?
I don't even know what happened, because I don't know if it was 16 HP or 13 HP or what happened, but Jacob took a certain amount of HP from me. And I had like this little math trail going on because I was taking a lot of damage really quickly. So like I was looking at it and I started to erase from one side to the other, and then I was looking at it, I was like, uh-oh. And then I go, hey Jacob, I'm actually down. So Animus is down. I thought he was up. He was trying to run out the door. But he ended up going down, and for whatever reason the guy ended up putting a health potion into Animus's mouth, because he said, and I quote, this won't do. Put a health potion in, walked outside. Braun had already teleported away because I told him to. Um, honestly, don't regret that. Even if I would have died, I don't know. We'll talk about that again. We started a conversation about that off camera, and then Anzu and Lochner finally were the last two to get out, as well as Animas being able to teleport out. So everyone teleported out at the very end, realizing they were being overrun. And I believe that's where we ended the episode.
Awesome.
When you recap it like that, it makes me feel good.
It,
It means my plans are coming together.
it was a lot. Zach,
It was
do
a
you
good
wanna-
episode, though.
It was,
enjoyed it.
yeah. It was one of like we finally got a little bit of fight in there, and then like some good role. Like we had a really well balanced episode. And Vasselheim's been a lot of like everyone kind of wants to do their own thing here and there. As going into big cities, it's not a bad thing, for everyone to want to do something, but we did do it a couple times, back to back to back in a few episodes, which once again it's not too bad, but it's nice to get back to where you're all together and you get good roleplay and good fighting in one episode. So
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how Zach as a fan kind of interpreted everything. So let's get into some questions. I'm ready.
All right, yeah. So we will start with you, Jacob.
Oh,
So toward the kind of the beginning of the episode, there's that little meeting with Zygon's wife.
mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to know kind of what your plan is for Zygon's wife, if there is a plan with her at all.
I mean, she's pretty much in Vasselheim for now. But like if Zygon needs her to do something, I'm sure she would do it. So it's gonna be kind of up to him. I see her as kind of like Zygon's anchor, and it's like the one thing that's keeping him from just going full on. Who cares about anything?
yeah.
Mhm.
So I would actually be really interested to see if she dies, what Zygon would do.
Oh no, don't.
Because I think her
Please.
dying would affect Zygon more than someone in the party dying.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of interested, like, and especially if he was the one that put her in harm's way, like if he asked her to come help with something and then she died while doing that, I think that would be interesting.
I don't know what it is about like Rebecca being part of the story more and more right now. But for whatever reason, while like I'm playing, Animus wants to help Rebecca and like keep her out of harm, like he would if she was a family member. And I keep coming back to like I think it's because I like seeing Zygon as he is, like getting to a point where like he's not fully evil. He understands his situation and he is trying to get back to some normality with his family at some point. And that's a similar path that Animus is on. Maybe not the normality part. It's not really like you want to get back to normal with what he had, but
I would even say that Animus is where Zygon would be without them. You know what I mean?
yes.
Like Zygon has a family, whereas Animus does not know if he does, and wants to get revenge on those who may or may not have taken them from him.
Yeah.
So I think that Animus is like, I don't want this happening to someone else.
Yeah, even though we're both equally making bad decisions here and there,
Demon
he's
boys.
on a better path to redemption / a good ending, than what Animus is on currently. And I like seeing that, and I just don't want Rebecca to die for that reason. It would be so like big for the group to have Zygon just splinter into a completely different character that he's been growing to be.
I'd also love to see how Brady would play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Brady is a good subtle role player,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd be really interested to see how Brady would like
think
interpret that.
If I were to say something would happen, if it was Rebecca that died, he would be like all in to save Lilith. It would be like whatever he can do from that point on, he's going to try to get
I
Lilith
also
to be
think
safe.
whoever or whatever kills her, if it happens, he would be like, that thing is dead.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what. I will
Well,
die killing this thing.
I think it's interesting seeing that Zygon, right, especially at the beginning, was this kind of asshole, doesn't give a shit about anybody,
He
only
still
gives a
kind
shit
of
about
is.
himself. Well, but he has somebody to care about. He has a couple
Yeah,
people that like will kind of like give him a little bit of a soft side, and that
yeah,
if big if Rebecca were to die, that would just send him off the deep end, and kind of go back to this is fucked. Don't give a shit about anybody else. I'm figuring that out right
yep,
now.
yep.
Yeah.
And I
And
will destroy anyone in my way. I
yes,
think Zygon would
exactly.
go on like a murder, like I am destroying everything
Which is
sort of.
why we don't want her to die.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
she also understands that we are in a very bad situation, and as much as she wants to see Zygon get back to normal, it sounds like she wants to also stay safe because she has other things to protect. She's of the Platinum Sanctuary. They have. She's definitely at one of the higher ups in Vasselheim, and in the Platinum Dragon.
I would say
Um,
she's like middle management.
yeah, she's. I mean, like high enough to where
She's like a regional manager.
She's protecting big secrets, and so
Yeah,
and of course her
yeah,
daughter. Like that's also a thing. So
yeah. That's gonna be interesting too. I'm interested to see how that develops.
but yeah, Zach, what else do you have for us?
So moving on from that, the little demon sword thing, Braun absolutely aced those tests. I think he
Yeah,
failed one of them.
yeah. He failed one.
Took a little damage, but he was fine.
Yeah, but I guess Jacob, can you kind of explain, I guess, how and why? Because I think he
So
had some traits that would help him out with that.
yeah, so he also has advantage, which Michael hasn't really asked me about this, but um, do I want to? Okay, yeah. The dragon curse that he has help
Okay.
um, for a few different reasons. But that sword recognizes power. Like if Braun would have killed that guard, that sword would have been his immediately, and the dude coming in and taking it back wouldn't have happened. Braun would have just been the master of that sword. Um, but then it also he would have killed somebody for no reason, and like it would have sent him down an even darker path. Um, so that sword recognized Braun's strength, um, but Braun doesn't necessarily have the will or the stomach to go to the dark side, I guess would be what I would say. And that sword is a very big deal. Um,
It's becoming a bigger deal as we continue to see it.
well, it's what that sword is in actuality that's the big deal.
Is so when you were describing it, Jacob, it made me think of the Elder Wand from Harry Potter.
Kinda, yeah,
Okay.
kinda.
Okay.
I would say, like the Elder Wand, yeah, like if you defeat the person that's using it,
Hmm.
it kind of has that sort of property. Because if you defeat someone that's actually using that sword, you're godlike in ability. Um, but yeah, that sword has a few different properties that we will most likely explore
Hey.
It's
as we go
scary. It's a
further.
scary sword.
That thing's terrifying. Like I made that.
Absolutely.
Like, ooh, this is like Elder Wand or like a Halo from
Hmm.
Halo. Like it's
Yeah.
full on like Doomsday weapon level
It
power.
is not fun. I would assume if you threw it into a bag of holding, it would break the bag of holding or something like that.
I will say that it has teleportation ability, so
Yeah, so that wouldn't have helped.
a bag of holding does nothing.
I did think about that, and then I was like, that's not gonna help anything.
I mean, like if the sword is in a different plane or like a different like I don't know. I haven't really thought about it because I honestly didn't think you guys
Because
would ever want to touch it.
what kind of teleportation is it using is the question. I mean, you don't need to answer that. It's just like that's like a rhetorical question. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of teleportation is it using?
I mean,
Can it
it's
jump
got
planes?
properties. It's got properties that you guys haven't even seen yet.
Oh yeah, of course it
That
does.
thing is insane.
We've
But
only seen it attack
we'll
things,
get there.
so
Yeah, we'll get there.
Awesome. So I guess directly after that was the big fight. I think you guys had a couple of more points to talk about that.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys clocked um those three women that show up towards the back end that like were helping the dude. Um
No, yeah, I definitely didn't.
yeah, those three.
Oh no, I did because I
Yeah,
I was attacking them with my bears and
yeah.
stuff.
Those three are going to be fun characters to explore more.
Oh no, dude.
Um,
That was just a terrifying situation of like the
yeah,
realization that
and
I went down and I
yeah,
was like,
by yourself where no one else. Because like if Anzu hadn't have blown up like half of the people that were in the courtyard for because wizards are dumb, um, uh, they would have been rushed.
yeah,
And like I think Lochnar and Anzu would have both gone down too.
oh, easily,
Um,
yeah. I
and
think they would have
then that would have been
teleported
like half
out.
the party. I think so too. I think Lochnar would have been less likely to do that because he would have gone into a rage, and then he would have had to make a roll to see if he was of sound mind enough to even realize that he could use the stone. But
True.
like that's getting into hypothetical. What I will say is that um, things in Vasselheim are gonna get real um, military state y
Uh,
um, soon
we're gonna see
because
Broder and I'm gonna hate my life.
and because they just had their major prison broken into seemingly out of surprise.
While we're in the middle of it once again.
Yeah, no matter where you guys go, something's happening. But I'll
Almost
also
like you're the main characters.
yeah, but I'll also say there's stuff happening that you guys aren't present for.
Yeah, it's one of
The
those
world is
things.
alive. It's like, for example, like when you guys went to Whitestone, there's a train there now.
Yeah,
You guys were there like a year
exactly
ago. There
like
wasn't a
that.
train. Um, so yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see how the group reacts once you guys can kind of get back together and kind of debrief on what happened. Um,
Yeah, I'm going
and
back to them with
Animus,
about 4 HP. I might just go back down once I get to them, honestly.
yeah, and then Animus like getting saved by the dude
That was
who's attacking
strange.
them is weird.
I
Um,
don't know if I'm gonna tell them
I
that
I want to know what you think of that, Caleb. Like, where's your mind at with that?
of why he saved me.
Yeah,
I'll say one thing first because this is a point I was gonna come up to anyways. I want so number one, I did figure out I went down. That was just I mathed wrong when you're in the heat of battle.
math is hard, especially when
Um,
you're drinking simpler times.
yeah, when you're drinking a good amount of simpler
God,
times.
Caleb, your plug in the middle of that was very good.
So funny.
Some of them end up really good. Some of them are just
Our
kind of eh.
plugs are so good. Why are we not
Why are we not
sponsored yet?
sponsored? Come on, Trader
Could
Joe's.
be.
But yeah, I realized that, and I was like, I can't. I don't want to be that guy who tells a story later, and he's like, yeah, I actually went down, but I realized it too late, so I just kind of like I fluffed the role, and I just kind of acted like I was fine. I was like, you know what? I went down. Let's see what happens, and I forgot like everyone was gone. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be really bad. I don't know why, but I was really confident to make death saving throws, and I knew that guy didn't care about me because he'd already walked past me twice. So I had a strong feeling if I go down here, this guy is gonna walk past me again. They probably will either capture me or not kill me in this area. My biggest issue was these dice, these brand new dice I bought, were
This looks
rolling.
terrible.
They were rolling so bad for me. So I went out and I bought new dice the other day. Um, they're these
You
like,
got more new dice
yeah,
because the others were cursed.
You have to
yes.
break them in though.
Yeah, you got to
Well,
break in your
these
dice.
ones are going away for next week at the very least. They will come back later.
They're going in timeout.
Yep, they're going in timeout. But yeah, I while I was down, I was like, I really confident that because I had another group of dice that was rolling really well, and I was like, I think I can make better average saves than I can. Uh, like I bet I can make more saves than I can not saves for death saves right now, and I was okay with that. I just kind of was like really scared in the situation I was in, and then the guy ended up saving me anyway, and I was like, but why?
But like, why though?
I don't know if it's because he knows something about me that I don't, because I do have that going on, or if it's because maybe he wants to show some sort of power that he left me alive and he had that choice and he doesn't care if I'm alive. He just only cares about the fact that he just showed us. Maybe he wanted me to be sent back to my group saying like, hey, like, this guy is no joke or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of my thought process. I don't. It seems like one of those classic, like, not classic as in like Jacob made a classic character, but just like one of those classic moments of like a bad guy that has so much power they believe they don't need to take out threats that maybe aren't their main threat, because Animus is not the main threat when it comes to doing damage, and he's not the main threat when it comes to keeping the group alive. That is up to Thea, and that is up to Braun for the most part, and then Lockdar and Anzu, of course. So yeah, I don't know. It was a weird situation, and I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know what I'm gonna do as Animus. If I remember, I might not tell them. Like, if I remember on Sunday that I don't want to tell them, I might not. Oh, also the thing we talked about off camera, I'll say this real quick. I was saying, me and Thea just had this whole, like, 3 episodes where she's like, hey, you need to start, like, maybe trying to get back to, like, being a better person, like, thinking about other people, thinking through your options more clearly. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try to save Braun here. So I'm body blocking for Braun. I know I have a lot of health to go through, but this guy just dealt so much health that I went all the way down, and then everyone was gone. And now I'm sitting alone, dying in a room, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I will just do stuff for myself like I was doing before. And so I don't know how I'm going to change, or if I will at all, or if I might stick with what Thea told me, but we'll see. That's going to be interesting on how I play that.
That will be interesting.
Well, I'm all out of questions, personally.
Right. Cool. All right. That's nice. No, I'm kidding. Jacob, is there a specific reason why you saved me, or is it more like...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, there's a very specific reason.
Is it because of me,
Well,
or is it more just for what he's doing?
can it be both?
Yeah, I guess.
So, yeah, there's a reason. I'm not going to tell you the reason,
That's
but there's
fine.
a reason. And then, like, I don't know. I don't know if he really wanted to kill any of you. I think it was more about sending a message.
Oh, he sent a message.
Yeah.
Unless I don't tell the group that I went down. Then we're just like, yeah, we got away from it. It was pretty easy.
Is it the group that the message is supposed to go to?
Or is it a message to you?
It's not to me. He's going
Or
after Braun. It's after Braun, yeah. He would have sent
Are
a
you
message
sure?
to Braun.
Are you sure?
Maybe. If he's going after Braun, he sent a message to Braun. Braun knows. That was dangerous. Braun was the first...
Why do you think he's going after Braun?
It just seems like the sword... Here's another... My biggest mistake when I was playing this out, I should say Animus' biggest mistake while playing this out, was thinking, if I get the sword away from the guy, it's going to be like the other guy who got possessed. The sword then has no possession over the guy, and the guy is free from this curse. I kind of forgot to think, wow, maybe they're working together, like a warlock would do with a demon. So, yeah, I'm thinking this sword knows how powerful Braun is. This sword wielder probably knows of Braun, and Braun has a book and he's collecting these powerful swords. So they both recognize what each other have. Braun knows this guy is a big deal and a scary motherfucker because of how powerful that sword is. And this guy knows Braun is powerful and has a lot of potential to be extremely threatening to what power he has. So I don't know. I think he's more after Braun. I don't know why he'd be after me. I've got my own stuff going on. He could just be after the whole group, and maybe he's trying to take out the biggest threat first. But
Well, you don't even know who this person is.
exactly. I almost don't care. I'm just... Animas almost doesn't care. I know other people are going to care.
You should.
But, like, it's just so... I'm just so frustrated.
Well, I think you thought that it was Navarne.
I did think
little
it was
while.
Navarne. And then I was like, no, there's no way it's Navarne.
Yeah, it's not.
A lot of things just didn't add up. I'm not going to explain the whole...
I
that
do
whole
know who
thought
it is, though.
process.
I know
Well, I
the
would
full
hope
backstory
so.
of that person.
I would hope so.
Yeah, it's just, oh, I can't wait until you guys figure it out. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so awesome.
Oh, man.
When the big bad is fully revealed.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Well,
it's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited. Oh man.
did I think he was one of the 5? Did I bring that up?
I don't know. Do you?
I think it's a possibility. At this point, there's
I
a
mean-
lot of possibilities.
Yeah, and I mean, you still don't know who the vampire is, or the human, or the demon.
But here's the thing. I am still, no matter what anyone says, I don't care what anyone says, I am almost 100% sure we know where the dragon is. We know who she is. We know where she is. She's not scared to show herself. We know where the beholder is. He's not leaving the clasp. The vampire is almost certainly somewhere near Western because they are trying to take out major cities. I think either the demon or the human is on the Whitestone side of the continent. That would make a lot of sense for them to be covering the whole globe at that point. They now have one in Vasselheim. If I'm looking at a map, one in Vasselheim, one in Amon, one in Western, one in Whitestone across the whole board, and then there's one more, and maybe he could also be in Vasselheim with us, or she. But
They at this point.
I'm feeling like the human or the demons for sure in Whitestone, and I think the other one might still be on Tal'Dorei as well. So I don't know. I don't think this guy's
Interesting.
one of the 5. Zach, what do you think he's one of the 5? Because this seems like a...
I have a couple of thoughts going in my head.
Give us one. Give us one.
Ooh.
So I think I'm not sure if the sword, right? I guess what is powering the sword, right? Is it a demon?
It's some sort of
Because
entity.
I'm thinking demon. For whatever reason, I've come to the assumption it's a demon sword thing. At this moment in time, I think it is the demon of the 5, and there's some sort of connection with the demon boys.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like that. That's interesting.
I think if the demon is targeting Ron, then there's going to be some sort of connection between the now 3 demon boys.
That's true, yeah.
Demon boys. Demon boys.
Something I also didn't bring up earlier in the conversation that Animas had with the Baylor. A small part of that was that the fox who was sent to me told me they don't want the Calamity because they are focusing on their own war, and that would be really bad for them to have all of the planes combine, because they currently are trying to, like, there's a big civil war going on in the Abyss and some of the hells, or all the hells, we don't know. That's demon stuff, that's devil stuff. But I know the Abyss has a civil war going on, and I know that most of the overlords down there are fighting against each other, including the Baylor and Fraz. The Baylor and Fraz are technically wanting different things. We've seen that before, but neither of them want the Calamity. So I don't know if the sword is maybe one of the demons of the Abyss who may want the Calamity to happen, and so now they're targeting us. I think it'd be really cool if one of our assumptions is right, because that would mean Jacob's setting up a really good story. Then again, though, if we're wrong, that means he's still setting up a good story. We're just way off track still, and we haven't gotten enough information out of it yet.
I love hearing your guys' theories. It fuels which tells me that you're actually thinking about it.
The more that you guys talk about it, the more I could be convinced it may be the human. I think the demon's in
Okay.
Whitestone. I really cannot get away from the fact that...
Tell you what you really think, Caleb.
The-
I know what you want to say.
I'm not saying Vesper's taken over by the demon, and I'm not saying
Uh-huh.
that Vesper is a demon. I'm saying the demon is influencing governmental officials within the Whitestone Westerun alliance that's currently going on. And that's... I don't think he's leaving that. That's too big of an opportunity for him to take over two major cities. I don't think the human would be able to do that. I think the human could be this guy, though, now that we've brought this up. And with demonic powers, this sword could just be a demonic entity and maybe not a demon itself. And I think Zach could be on the right track with that it could be one of the five, and it's some sort of evil entity, so...
I love your theories.
Well, those theories will hopefully be put to rest within the next coming weeks. So come check us out on Sunday nights. We stream. Usually we start our streams closer to 6:15, 6:30, and we try to go for about 3 hours. If you guys can't make it to that, or you can't watch it all, you can jump in to stream, or you can come watch us back next week for another weekly recap. We do them every Wednesday night.
And watch us on YouTube.
And then also watch us on YouTube. I have fully caught up. So episode...
Yay!
Yeah.
Good job.
Episode 15 is up on YouTube. Episode 15 recap's going up tonight. Episode 16 will be up by the end of the week. And then this recap will be up by the weekend, hopefully. And then we've also got a couple other videos coming out on YouTube soon. So they're going to be YouTube-only videos. Just some Pokemon stuff if you're into it. So
Pokemon.
thank you guys so much for watching.
Not Pokemon, just to be clear.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't. We're not at that level yet.
No, I can't.
Yet.
I'm not
Yet.
Key word, Zach.
Maybe someday. We'll see.
Also, Caleb, I have a question.
Yeah.
Where'd you buy that amazing segue you just did?
Oh,
Holy
man.
cow, that was beautiful.
Guys, I'm horrible at segues, but sometimes I can pull them out, you know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.